Guys, it's been a while since I've done a Fright Night video, but I've still got my army. Still got the army. And I still got the castle. But I also have a bunch of figures I haven't showed yet. So that's what I'm going to do today. Because to be honest, I just kind of miss this content. Just going to put these guys back onto their base plate. So in my other room, I have right here one of the Ghost Knights, and here are my Fright Nights that I did the YouTube shorts with. I wanted to keep doing the shorts, I don't know, I guess I got bored of the content. So we're just gonna show them all. I live in a 3-story house and I'm bringing this down 3 flights. Not gonna lie, man, I'm feeling it. And to my knowledge, that's the final piece. Okay, guys, we got the tripod set, and we have, like I said, I think this is all my Fright Nights. I might be mistaken. But I'm going to take a second to build it all up, and I guess we'll go from there. Alright, so if we just move the tripod, you can see the army is there. I've got the castle right there. I got a bunch more knights in here, a bunch of the Will of the Witches and whatnot, all down here. So without any further ado, guys, let's just crack onto it. So while I'm placing these, I just noticed these are so extremely dusty. It's funny how much dust collects. Now, bearing in mind I haven't used these guys in quite a while, so I'm not fully surprised that they've got dust on them. But wow, got some of the little polybag box things they had back in the day as well here. A little ammunitions crate and the little fire cart. We'll put those over there. Hey, it's me from the future just saying to check out Lego Pieces, and thank you for their idea on the CMF pieces. Check them out, they're fantastic. You can find the link in the description of this video to their channel. This is Willa the Witch, the main leader of the witch army that I have for the Fright Nights. Accompanying Willa, we have, as you can see, this witch is using the Jack Skellington skirt piece, the new Dungeons and Dragons head, and a witch hat along with Jack Skellington's neck piece, just to give it some more riptish bat-looking vibes for, obviously, Basil's army. Next up, we have one of the wizards using Willa's torso and just a big beard to sort of cover up more of the female details. He's pretty basic, but, you know, it adds to the collection. To accompany him, we have, I'm going to call him the Grand Wizard of the Bat Army. The same body, different beard, and he has a little electrical staff piece, just to sort of give him variety. He has a utility belt and also the Mandalorian cape, just to throw in a little different variety. Therefore, you can see this one is maybe the master and this one's maybe the apprentice. I don't know, let me know. You know, we then have this lady right here using the Dungeons and Dragons new witch hairpiece. So it adds a little hair. Obviously it's a different color, so if that bothers you, my apologies. I just thought it looked kind of cool. And she has a little Dracula neck piece done backwards to create some sort of a little cape. Thought it was kind of cool. Next up, we have one of my favorites, to be honest, which is the little girl. I like this one. Maybe this is like one of the little children using Willa's cape and Willa's body. They all are. But maybe this is like a little child that, you know, has grown up into the wizarding world. I guess kind of like Harry Potter, just without the dragons. Maybe this is Harry Potter. Wow. I'm sorry about the dust, guys. These have been in storage for so long. To round out my witch collection, we have, boom. Just, again, Willa's torso, Willa's hat, whatever. Using Gamora's headpiece. I thought you can't really not have a witch with green skin. But it's funny, after the movie Wicked came out, all I can think of is you know. But that wasn't where it was inspired from. But you know what? It is now. Yeah, I like that. I like that. So we'll put you there and zoom out, and here you can see the witches, wizards, and, you know, magical people of my Fright Night army. One other thing I didn't add, by the way, about this lady is she's using, if you can see that, the arms also from the wizard, from the witch, wizard, whatever you want to call it, Dungeons and Dragons CMF, just because I kind of like the added detail. So yeah, let's move on. While we're on about witches, actually, I feel like it's a good time to bring up this guy. Oh no. Now the story of this guy is that he used to be your average knight, and one day, unfortunately, he got slain in battle. After this point, some of the witches found his dead body and decided that they could use him for ulterior motives. Once the knight had been delivered to Willa and the Grand Wizard, they decided they could resurrect him, thus for creating... This guy uses the new head from the Dungeons and Dragons series and one of the Royal Guard robe headpieces from Star Wars. He has a black skirt, just because it kind of adds detail. You can see the skin color on the hands, and if we turn it around, he has one of the Willa capes, just to emphasize that he belongs to them. Yeah, this is totally me right now, thinking please like the story and that it wasn't too cringe. Please. Anyway, moving on. Okay, this is where we get messy, boys. This is every single Fright Night that I have. Some of them don't have heads and hands and everything because I was doing it for the YouTube series. But we also have a lot built up ready for that YouTube series. And there's a lot. So without any further ado, let's get into it. I'm going to organize them and then we're going to go from there. And so it is time for the archers. As you can see, we have a bunch of them. This guy's got a crossbow because, I'll be honest, I couldn't find a bow just now, so I gave him one of those. But these are the more humanoid ones. I don't really know, because the whole point of my Fright Nights is I want them to be more monsters and scary people, you know? Hence, Fright. But I also want to add a couple yellow heads in. So I ordered a whole bunch of yellow heads, so there's going to be some repeats in here, I apologize. But yeah, so I think that was Basil's head, and you know, those guys there. Moving on, you can see we got some more of the flesh tones, including, I'm pretty sure that's Rex from the Lego movie. For a cool inclusion now, we gotta throw this boy in there. Look at this guy. I love how this guy came out. Again, he has a crossbow and everything, but he's using the Ninjago mask piece. I believe it's from Cole, along with one of the helms, because obviously a hood won't fit on there unless you use the Ninjago hood, and I didn't have any. So yeah, but there is another just humanoid flesh tone one, but he's cool. He's kind of more of, I guess, the assassin of the group. By the way, all of these are built the same, other than the guy with the crossbow, because like I said, he was kind of last minute, buddy. So he just has that, whereas the other ones have a cape, which I've either folded or cut to look like the Mandalorian cape, because I cannot find those capes anywhere. I think I own 3, and one of them's on a Batman, but why are they so hard to get? And here are the more monster ones. This guy here, the Scribble Cop, is my all-time favorite head for this series. Like, when I put it on, I was just so amazed. So in the lore of my army, I suppose, Scribble Cop here would be the leader of the archers, and these are his monster fighters, I suppose. So we have one right here that has just a straight black head because, hey, it looks kind of menacing, along with one of the Ghost Knight heads. We got a Dementor and Morbius. We got the Black Knight, or I think his name's Mr. Wickles, from the Scooby-Doo set, along with Mr. Freeze. And you can't really see this one, but if we take off the hood, you'll notice it's the skull head from the Dungeons and Dragons CMF. I kind of liked how that looked, but like I said, when you put a hood on there, he pretty much just is non-existent. So those are all the archers, along with this guy using one of the original Batlord and Batlord torsos. And yeah, that is all of my archers. I wanted more, and I may make more because, I mean, just all in here, there's just, you know, unbuilt figures, which is crazy. I thought I did more than that. So I may see if I can find my knight pieces, because I have them in a box somewhere, but whew, you know. So these guys may get added to quite a bit, but I'll be honest, I'm not. So this here was 16 Fright Night bodies and legs along with their shields, which, like I said, I hadn't built. I will have to do that. I guess I'll save these for a future video, which I'm not mad about because I really missed the night content. So I'll save all these for a future video, order some more heads, you know, that sort of thing. And we'll make a couple archers and whatnot. But yeah, so that's all of the unbuilt ones. I just wanted to include them. So as I stated previously, this is one of my favorite factions that I have in this whole night setup. And it starts with one of the generals of the army was once galloping along, getting ready for battle, when he died. Thankfully, this soldier hadn't given up quite yet. He may have passed on, but his spirit remained. This led the army of the ghosts with the head that I showed on one of the archers. So I guess one of my archers is like dead, but you know, and we have a whole bunch of these guys. But as you saw, I have one guy that is still alive, and boom. My reason for keeping one alive and giving him a feather helmet and a regular sword instead of, you know, like that, and also a different shield so it doesn't look as beaten up, you know. My reason for that is that we have one troop that is alive and he commands the army of the dead for Basil. So these are all the Ghost Knights along with this guy right here who has a different helmet because I needed the helmet for something else for another night that I'll show in a little bit, so I gave him this. I guess he can be more of an enforcer. I don't really know. If you guys have any ideas, let me know, I suppose. But yeah, so these are all the dead ones. And then, like I said, we have the main leader, which is the guy that's alive. So he leads the troops into battle on his trusty steed. Now, what would be cool is if I could get a bunch of skeleton horses or even ghost horses, but I don't think they make Lego ghost horses, so I guess we'll give that a skip. But yeah, maybe I'll get some skeleton horses down the line for these guys, and they can all ride into battle. I'm kind of picturing like the Lord of the Rings scene, you know, with all the ghost knights when they come out and just start destroying all the orcs. But yeah, that is the ghost knights right there. I suppose, again, let's do it differently. Let's show the horses real quick. And before I get into it, how expensive is barding for horses? Like, it's crazy how much this piece can cost. Like, anyway, let's show the horses. Here are all the Lego horses that I own. As you can see, some of them have masks, other ones don't. Again, it just comes down to the fact that when I bought most of these bardings, not all of them came with masks, but thankfully it's only 2, so I'm not ridiculously bothered about it. Down the line, look at buying some more horse barding and some more masks for the horse. But as you can see, we have swords and other various equipment attached to them, such as this guy. They have little banners, little flags. This one's very tall. I'm guessing you could also use this for jousting, I suppose. We got one with a bat on the back and another little banner. We then have people like this guy, and this guy that all have the what? We then have ones like these 2 guys and this guy, which have the flag for the Fright Knights, which is really cool. I love these ones. And obviously we have 2 knights here holding the shields, swords up, ready to go, getting ready for battle. This part of the army, I guess, would be the unofficial army, as it's using all official Lego parts and they do come from Fright Knights, but obviously they aren't actually meant really to be them, and that is using the bodies from the Ghost Knights to create a light chainmail armor. So these are my light chainmail Fright Knights. So if we zoom in, we can take a look and see that we have a couple of more flesh tone heads along with, I think that's a Zane. And we have this guy here with grease on him. I guess it can be like orc blood, I don't know. We have a really old Lego head there where they have hair coming down from their helmet, which is cool. Another Dementor. That's one of the Raven Knight heads, I believe. It has like a metal eye patch. I don't know if that really fits into the time, but hey, it works. And then we have another Ghost Knight itself. We'll show the fan favorites next, which are the ones I did for the YouTube series, being the modern knights, but with different elements in them, such as my king. Let's do it. So this here is the king, and I had a subscriber that kept asking me on my shorts to make a king, and I kept telling them I've ordered parts but didn't get them. These were the parts that were meant to be for the king, and they all come from, I think his name's like the Nightmare King or something, from the Lego Dreams. Loved the cape. I thought the cape was so cool. The helmet and everything, the whole crown effect, and I gave him the legs from it too, just to make him a little bit different. He's cool. I really like him. You'll have to let me know what you think, but I think this adds a really nice variety to the army, and also adds a little bit of lore, you know, for the Fright Knights to have a king. Here we have the Fright Knight heavy hitters. You can see these guys are all using your more standard knight helmets. They're all equipped with long swords. They all have shields, apart from this guy here who has a spear. I forget the actual name. If you know, please let me know. But these are these guys, and we have this one here using a bat head and the Mandalorian cape, as I said before. Love, love, love that with the red eyes in the background. Again, you can see kind of a mix of like Sinestro and regular heads to sort of create a human and also nightmarish army. Next up, you can see my knight inventory itself, and we have a scarecrow, basically a Basil the Batlord using his original head and his original cape and his original sword. But yeah, there's that guy. We have one, well, I guess both of these, terrified, especially that poor guy in the background, because, you know, he works with literal monsters. So I love having a zombie knight in there. I think that works so incredibly well. This is the definition of a Fright Knight. Here is another one of the assassin type knights, where you can see he has on the Cole Ninjago mask piece along with the helmet, and underneath is one of the ghost heads from Lego Ninjago. We have three types of the more brutish looking knights right here using the orc helmets. This guy has had a nasty fight and lost, along with a mummy with a little axe. Here are some of my favorite helmets that I own too for these guys. I love these ones. I believe there is more in the collection with that helmet, such as if we go up and zoom down, you can see that knight over there has the helmet too on the dragon, but we'll get to him when we get to him. Yeah, so these are more of the spear type guys, apart from him with the sword. I guess I ran out of spears at some point. So those are cool. Unfortunately, this one's missing a feather piece. I may have to hook him up. These helmets were really hard to find. I had to buy, I think, about 6 or 7 of these classic blue Falcon Knights, I think they were. And I basically took their helmets and then threw them into a storage box. These guys here are Basil's top lieutenants. As you can see, these ones are very bat themed, and I love these guys so much. So one here, he has the original Batlord helmet along with a bat on top, just to, you know, add a little flair. He's using Jack Skellington's skirt piece and neck attachment, along with a quiver and a Batman cape. The reason for that is just so that he looks taller, because I feel like it adds something when they look taller. Oh, it makes him look a little bit more menacing. So I guess maybe this guy could be like the Witch Doctor, the Necromancer. We have a more standard looking knight that just has Basil's helmet and one of the original capes. This guy honestly just blows my mind. The credit for this isn't actually mine. I can't think of the guy's name because it was a while back now, but someone on Instagram had a Basil with this back attachment picture, and I couldn't quite recreate it, so I sort of made my own using the jumper pads. But it's just sort of to create the bats are flying off of him and around him. And again, he's using one of the Dracula neck pieces, but using it as sort of a bib, I suppose. And then he has the axe from the Black Knight, or Mr. Wickles from Scooby-Doo. Now this part is going to be great. As you can see, we have Basil the Batlord from the CMF series using one of the Ghost Knight shields, because it makes him look a little bit older, a little bit more, you know, thrown into battle. He is literally the exact same cape, same weapon, same everything. Nothing on this figure is different from when you pick him up in the box, apart from the shield. we'll just put him there. So these guys are his, I guess his bodyguards, his enforcer. We have this guy using the Dracula head from an original minifigure series. Turn it back on. He's somewhat basic, just a long feather and the shoulder pauldrons, if that's the correct term. I think that's Star Wars meanings, but you know, and the knight helmet. And then this guy right here is another vampire. This one is from the Scooby-Doo. Yeah, so technically he's in a box. It's time for the classic Fright Night collection. So we're gonna start off on the right, work to the left, because I guess we're different that way. So here we have the classic Basil the Batlord body with the dragon helmets. There we have two of those guys. Next up we have the fleur-de-lis looking Fright Night torso. These ones all wear bat helmets. Next up you can see the same torsos again, but they're using like the nasal helmets. Some are in black, some are in grey. Why? Because when I bought the originals, some came with grey, some came with black. To accompany that, we have another one using the more orcish barbarian helmet, and he is a Ninjago ghost. He has an axe with another banner. This one is fairly damaged, unfortunately. When I got this one, it was really old and really tattered, but we're talking 90s, so I'm not fully surprised. There's only two of these guys, so I put him far enough back that you could see. Next up, we have more of the grey bodies. These are using your more standard knight helmets themselves. We have three of those guys, along with more of these ones. I don't remember what these helmets are. I think these are meant to be archer helmets. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, so we have a whole bunch of those guys, and there's an archer there. So we have quite a few of those guys, which I love those ones. Apart from you, buddy, you're in the wrong section. Go back to the Basil bodies, and these guys have the knight helms. You can see some have capes, some do not. So we have more of, like I said, I think they are archer helmets right there in the Basil bodies, and I have black and the darkish bluish gray, whatever you want to call it, right there. And then we have two Basils with regular knight helmets. This one is up front because he looks pretty regal with his little shoulders and the little feather. Okay, moving on to the left side now. You can see we have a regular Basil the Batlord body with that Ninjago neck piece and a little nasal helmet. We have two of the black bodies with classic knight helmets. I love these bodies. I think they're really cool. I was really happy to get some of these in my army. Moving it along, we have the same guys again with the nasal helms. This guy has an orc sword. There's been a few in here if you've noticed. We have the actual traditional way these guys seem to come with the more dragon helmet looking piece right there. You can see they all have the same head because it's literally the exact same figure, like how they came, how I got them anyway. I haven't changed these in any way. And then we have more of the helmets on the other Fright Night bodies. You have a very damaged head, don't you, buddy? Wow, is that Count Dooku? Hold up. Yeah, that's classic Count Dooku, but he's taking a beating. Okay, good to know. We have a very senior citizen who's blind in one eye. And then finally we have the, like I said, the original guys with the helms. These classic knights are brilliant. It's just very nostalgic. I wasn't born when these came out, but I was around when they were discontinued, and my brother had a couple Wolfpack and Fright Night figures. So they're very nostalgic to me, these black ones and the red ones, because I remember those the most. These dragons, honestly, are falling over. Right here, we have a Fright Night on top of the dragon, and this is one of the classic Fright Night characters. Using, I believe those are from one of the Speed Champion wave legs. Not really sure why that is. So, I guess let's try them out real quick. now we have, yeah, now you look much better now. Not sure why. Anyway, yeah, so we have a classic Fright Night. Just take you off. This here is my very first Basil the Batlord. Zoom you in. This was my very first Basil the Batlord. Love, love, love this figure with the amazing cape. This is Basil. And Basil, the Batlord, or Basil the Batlord, rides a black dragon called Draco the Dragon. Here we have one of the other Fright Night sets. I have two of these because I wanted obviously to make an army and I thought you need transportation. One thing that's really cool about these is obviously a dragon is here instead of a horse, but you can actually take off, there you go. You can take off the prison part itself. There you can see it's detailed. In there, you can see, if we just zoom in, you can see two prisoners. Look at that. I don't believe the set came with two prisoners, but I had some extra knights, so I wanted to throw some prisoners in there. And you throw them in, you close it up, and as I just showed, you take your chain and you put it on this yellow piece, and then it can attach onto here like so. And here we have the Night Lord Castle. I won't do a massive video on this because it doesn't necessarily need one. We can just do a separate video about that, I guess. On these big base plates. And there's some play features where you can knock the, I'm guessing, boiling oil onto suspects. Wonderful throne. I love classic Lego. It's got such a charm to it, you know. Along with another trap door where I believe you pull this, yeah, and that falls down. I think there's also a prison, and inside said prison, we have, where's the prison? There. We have a Lion Knight inside. And I'll be honest, I didn't actually know he was even in there anymore. So that's funny. He must have been in there for quite a while. We have so many more of these to make. So I guess part 2 coming soon. It won't be as long and it won't be as detailed. I'll just show the new ones. Thank you and goodbye.